The Dallas Cowboys have made a timely roster move during the thick of training camp, signing cornerback Christian Matthew to help fortify a battered secondary, a unit currently plagued by injuries and uncertainty. This acquisition, while flying somewhat under the radar, comes with subtle layers of strategy, timing, and calculated optimism. For fans paying close attention to the Cowboys' evolving roster dynamics, the signing signals more than just a camp body. It's a direct response to a growing concern at one of the most critical positions on the field. Training camp is always a testing ground, not just for rookies and veterans vying for starting roles, but for coaches and front office staff to adapt to injuries and keep the overall structure of the team intact. Right now, Dallas is facing a bit of an early crisis in the secondary. With players like Trevon Diggs still rehabbing from injury, Kalen Carson now sidelined for 4 to 6 weeks due to a hyperextended knee, and several other young corners either limited or out completely, the Cowboys found themselves extremely thin at cornerback. This is where Christian Matthew enters the picture, and while he may not be a household name, he could end up playing a much larger role than fans anticipate if things continue to trend in this injury-riddled direction. Christian Matthew, standing at 6'2" and weighing around 195 pounds, brings an imposing physical presence to the defensive backfield. He's the kind of long, rangy cornerback that defensive coordinators love to work with because of his potential to jam receivers at the line and disrupt timing routes. His college career was somewhat unconventional. He played at Georgia Southern and Samford before finishing at Valdosta State, where he earned first-team All-Gulf South honors in 2021. Despite his small school background, Matthew's athletic traits were impressive enough to catch the attention of NFL scouts. He was selected in the 7th round of the 2022 NFL Draft by the Arizona Cardinals, pick number 244 overall. For most 7th-round picks, simply making a 53-man roster is an uphill climb, but Matthew managed to do more than just survive his rookie season. He appeared in 14 games, starting 3, and showed flashes of promise, finishing the year with 20 tackles and 3 passes defensed. That brief taste of real NFL playing time gave teams a glimpse into what he might offer as a rotational player. Since then, however, his career has been a journey through practice squads and injury reports. He had a brief stint with the Chicago Bears in 2023, where he primarily contributed on special teams and overlapped with Matt Eberflus, now the Cowboys' defensive coordinator. That connection might seem minor on the surface, but in the world of NFL coaching, familiarity often plays a big role in personnel decisions. Eberflus has first-hand experience with Matthew's work ethic, athleticism, and ability to understand defensive concepts. Having a player who can step in and grasp the terminology, scheme, and assignments without needing weeks of installation time is extremely valuable, especially during a condensed training camp schedule. After the Bears, Matthew joined the Baltimore Ravens, where he spent time on the practice squad before landing on injured reserve for the 2024 season. He was ultimately released in March of 2025, and after a few months as a free agent, Dallas saw an opportunity to bring him in amid their growing list of cornerback injuries. From the Cowboys' point of view, this signing is not just a band-aid move, it's a preemptive reinforcement. Training camp is a period of attrition, and injuries often create chaos in depth charts. With players like Diggs, Butler, and Carson out or limited, and Darren Bland still working his way back to full speed, the Cowboys were relying heavily on unproven rookies and fringe players to take on too many reps. This not only increases the chance of further injuries but also hampers the team's ability to properly evaluate those players. By adding Matthew, the Cowboys inject some much-needed experience into the mix. He might not be a starter, and he's certainly not guaranteed a final roster spot, but his presence allows coaches to better manage workloads, especially in preseason games. Christian Matthew can take second or third team reps and run with special teams units, giving valuable breathing room to players like Bland and first-round cornerback Kaiir Elam. It's also possible that if Matthew flashes in coverage drills, shows discipline in zone assignments, and makes plays during joint practices or preseason games, he could sneak onto the 53-man roster or at least earn a practice squad slot. The key to understanding this move is realizing that the Cowboys aren't looking for an all-pro solution here. They're looking for stability. They're looking for a player who can step in and hold his own during August, while giving the team flexibility in how they handle their injured players. With the regular season still weeks away, rushing anyone back, especially a star like Trevon Diggs, would be a mistake. Having Mathieu around buys them time. It allows the team to rest guys like Carson and Diggs without forcing rookies into overload situations. It also helps in preserving the legs of starters like Elam, who is expected to shoulder a huge role this year but doesn't need to be taking every single snap in meaningless preseason downs. That sort of thoughtful management is what separates well-coached, stable teams from those that constantly churn their rosters under duress. For Mathieu, this is more than just a signing, it's another chance to prove he belongs in the league. He has the physical tools, and now it's a matter of execution. The Cowboys will likely evaluate him in a variety of roles outside corner, maybe some nickel, and definitely special teams. His path to sticking around is to show versatility and reliability. Can he tackle? Can he cover without drawing penalties? Can he be a gunner on punt coverage or a solid presence on kickoff returns? These are the roles that often determine roster spots for players on the fringe. From a fan perspective, the reaction to the signing has been mixed. Some are excited to see the team taking action to address clear holes in the secondary, while others feel the move is underwhelming, especially considering bigger names are still floating in free agency. But this isn't about headlines, it's about football sense. The Cowboys have been quiet on the veteran cornerback market, possibly holding out hope that the group they've assembled can stay healthy and productive. By bringing in a player like Christian Mathieu, they're not necessarily closing the door on other moves, but they are giving themselves an internal option with upside. The fact that he has previous experience under Eberflus only sweetens the deal. He already understands the lingo, likely knows the coverage shells, and won't require a total schematic re-education. That matters in the NFL, where practice time is limited and every representative counts. If Mathieu impresses during his brief audition, he might even force the Cowboys to reconsider their final roster math. There's also the question of how this impacts the development of younger players. Rookies like Siobhan Revel Jr. and undrafted corners fighting for a shot might see Mathieu as competition, but in reality, his arrival could take some of the pressure off them. Instead of being forced into roles they may not be ready for, these younger players now have more room to develop without being thrown into the deep end too soon. That's another understated benefit of a signing like this: it brings balance to the camp environment. No single move will solve a team's injury crisis, but a move like this helps prevent the ripple effects from turning into full-blown chaos. Every team across the NFL is dealing with injuries in camp, and the smartest franchises are the ones that make modest but thoughtful adjustments early, instead of waiting until the problem spirals. Ultimately, Christian Mathieu will have to earn his spot just like everyone else. The NFL is brutally competitive, and at 28 years old with only 20 games of experience and limited tape over the past 2 seasons, the margin for error is slim. But this opportunity is as good as he could have hoped for a high-profile team, a clear path to reps, and a system run by a coach who already knows him. If he can capitalize on this opening, even just as a reliable practice squad asset, he could revive his NFL journey. If not, Dallas can pivot without much cost. That's what makes this move smart and efficient. It addresses an urgent need while maintaining flexibility. So while this signing may not trend on social media or make ESPN's bottom ticker, it's the kind of roster chess move that matters come November, when injuries pile up and playoff seeding is on the line. Every player matters. Every move counts. And for Christian Mathieu, the road back to relevance starts now with the star on his helmet and a golden chance to make the most of a new opportunity.